So now I'm just trying to start my life over, which has been really hard. Cause that's my dad, you know? I didn't want to get a restraining order on him. I didn't want him to go to jail. I just wanted him to not treat me that way. I don't know, man. Trying really hard not to cry at work. The worst part is probably me and my dad, we were like Billy Ray Cyrus and Hannah Montana. He taught me how to play guitar. We grew up making up weird songs all the time. I don't know. I really thought he would be here writing these songs with me, because that's what I've been doing these past few years, is writing music. And I don't know, I just always pictured my dad to be there too, just to help me out and be there singing with me. God, the last time I heard from him, I didn't hear from him, he posted about me on Facebook, and it was this huge rant about how I'm a piece of shit and I ruined his life and I'm crazy. Part of it, he said that I stabbed him and that I wrecked both of his cars. You must be geeked out of your mind, bro. Cause what? If I stabbed him, wouldn't I be in jail or prison? Or what? What? Mind you, my dad's a hod carrier. He carries brick up and down a ladder all day. You really think I have a fighting chance? Yeah. Wait, hold on. Do you really think I have a fighting chance? What? And then he said I wrecked both of his cars. I did get in a wreck in my Mazda, I will say that, but that was my car. He was talking about his Blazer, his Blazer, which I already talked about previously. That was my Christmas and birthday present. So he wrecked his truck, and then he wrecked the Blazer, and now he's posting on Facebook saying I did it. Mind you, I had a restraining order at the time that he wrecked the truck. So what? I just went and stole his truck and wrecked it? What the? But honestly, I think the part that makes me the most angry is the fact that he won't get his shit together for my brothers. Wyatt, my youngest brother, looks up to him so much. Wyatt thinks the world of him. And it's sad too, because see, Wyatt plays guitar, my dad plays guitar, right? So he has all the same interests that my dad does. But Caden, he plays video games. He doesn't really like to go hunting or go out. That's just not him. So my dad just doesn't have a relationship with Caden because he doesn't have the same interests as him. He genuinely believes that your kid is supposed to be the spitting image of you. Oh, you're gonna carry on my legacy because I was a piece of shit and I didn't get anywhere in life. That's the way he looks at it. And so Caden doesn't have any of the same interests, so he just doesn't care to talk to him. It's just narcissism at its finest. He just wants Wyatt to be exactly like him. And it's sad because it's kind of working. Me and Caden, we have never been homophobic, racist, none of that. But Wyatt, he is just like my dad. Doesn't believe in gays, makes fun of transgenders. He says the N-word. He has a Confederate flag hanging up in his room. I love my brother, and he doesn't know any better, and that's what breaks my heart the most, because I tried so hard to get these kids to realize you love who you love. You can't fucking help it. And who are you to think that your skin color is better than another person? And I'm so thankful that, like, Caden, my older, he's the middle. So I have an older half sister, and then it's me, and then it's Caden. And I'm just so thankful that Caden's not like that. He's not judgmental. But Wyatt, that's how he's been. And it's like he just wants to make my dad proud. So he'll just say whatever he thinks he needs to say to make my dad proud. And it just breaks my heart. I thought about coming on here and just speaking about all the times that he attacked me, like, in detail. I don't know if I have the strength for that. I already relive it every day. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that, but I might in the future, just because I want women to know, like, you're not the only one that's went through this. And just some of the things that, I don't know, like being strangled, being grabbed by the back of my hair by surprise, like shit like that. It's like you don't get over that. And now it's gotten to the point to where, like, I'll be in public, if anybody's behind me, I'm having a panic attack. Like, I'm like thinking that they're gonna reach behind me and grab me by my hair and throw me on the ground. Like, it's just things like that that you have to live with. It took me months just to get out of my apartment. Like, just to leave by myself and go to the store. I used to order everything online. Like, I would order my groceries, DoorDash, everything. Somebody's cutting the grass. I would order everything online because I would have a panic attack if I went into the store anywhere. And mind you, like, to get to this shelter, I had to move to a city that I've never lived in. Like, I don't know my way around this city. I still don't really know my way around. It was so scary to go from a domestic violence situation for years of my life, like my whole life for the most part, because before it was me, it was my mom, so I watched it all growing up. And then to come out to a city by myself, like, I'm so proud of myself for doing that. And I'm so proud of myself for getting my brothers away from him. Like, yeah, I know he loves them, I know that's their dad, but that doesn't mean shit, because he's not a fucking dad, and they do not need to be around that piece of shit. And it's just like every day it's like a constant battle of, like, I hate him, but I love him, and I miss him, but I hate him. And so I just have to convince myself every day not to drop the restraining order. Don't talk to your dad. He's still on drugs. He's not doing better. Like, there's no point in trying to help him because he won't help himself. And it's hard. It's very hard. Usually women will go back about 13, 14 times before they finally leave and they finally decide they've had enough. And that's the part that I hate, because people will look down on women for that reason. And it's like, they will control your money, they will control all the bills, they will control everything to the point where you... Like, I've heard of women telling stories where their man would come into their work and start fights with him to the point where they would get fired from, like, every job they tried to work. I've heard of my friends not having access to their own bank account as a stay-at-home mom. Because her man was worried about her spending all the money. Okay, what if there was an emergency and that baby needed to go to the hospital and there was no gas in that car? What would you do? What would you do then? They'd be screwed, and it would be his fault for keeping all the money. I've heard of men calling their girlfriend or wife's work and making, like, fake complaints just to get them fired so they don't have a source of income. And then they're already depressed going through that domestic abuse. And then on top of that, I got a text. On top of that, they have to deal with not being able to find employment and feeling like they're worthless because they can't find a job. And they're getting fired and they can't figure out why. The whole time it's the man's fault. There's just so many factors that go into it, and I can't stand the people that say, why don't you just leave? Why don't you leave? It's not that easy. Sometimes it'll go as far as to where they won't even pay your phone bill, or they'll, like, make it to where only they can pay, so if they don't, then you're out of a phone and you can't contact anybody. You can't get a hold of your job, you can't get a hold of friends, you can't leave. A lot of the times, like when I was in abusive relationships, my exes, they would talk bad about all my friends, and then I would end up being like gullible and believing that he had the best interest for me, and then I would end up without any friends, stuck in this abusive relationship with nobody to help me, because he was telling me that all these people didn't care about me, and I believed him, when in reality he's the one that doesn't care, and he's just trying to seclude me so he can have full control. It's so sad. And like, it still just blows my mind, like, my dad keeping my clothes, like, what? And mind you, I was 21. I was 21 years old. I was well over the age to move out. At that point, like, I'd be like, get out. Like, no, I'm kidding, but like, wouldn't you want your kids to move out at that age? Like, that, it's time to go. It's just all about control, all about bringing you down so that way you constantly build them up. And then it's like you're constantly like trying to cater to them so that way you can get that love that you felt in the beginning. Like, oh, maybe if I make him breakfast, maybe if I make his lunch for work, maybe he'll treat me good when he gets home. Maybe if I buy him a drink from the gas station, he'll be in a good mood and he'll be nice to me. It's like all these like what ifs, and he loves it. Because, okay, now he's getting his lunch made, his dinner made, his breakfast made, his clothes are washed. He's just chilling like a king. While you're working a full-time job, taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, taking care of him like he's a fucking kid. At this point, you don't have 3 kids, you got 4, like, and that's what he wants. But back to what I was saying in the beginning of the video, so now I'm going to donate my own blood just to make some money to get out of this shelter. What is going on? Literally giving out my body parts to get my life in order. I'm so mad at myself because, like, I could have moved out of my dad's, but you know what I was doing? I was spending all my money on a man that was locked up in prison. I was giving him all my money. Like, what is wrong with you, Brie? Just, like, telling him, like, I can't wait till you get out so I can get out of here, like, then we can be together. Bitch, what? Bitch, what? He did not give a fuck about you. He gave a fuck about getting that money while he was locked up. He wanted that money to go get high. And, like, I knew it, too. We're both addicts. So, like, mine was alcohol. His was whatever drug he could find, I guess. I don't know. But, like, I knew he was using that money for drugs. But there was, like, he would tell me, I'm hungry, I need some food. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to risk you going hungry. So I'm going to send the money to you anyways, even though I know you're probably not actually hungry or you're not using it for that reason. But I didn't want to risk him going hungry. Because I've been in jail a few times. And I know how it is to be sitting there starving your ass off. And half the time they just give you like bread, like a bunch of pieces of bread with like mystery meat. That looks like someone like chewed it up and spit it out and put it on your plate. So it's like you get full off the bread for the most part, and then you're hungry in like 10 minutes. And then they can bring the trays back and be like, see, look, they didn't even eat it all. We're feeding them enough. You're feeding us shit that fills us up quick, so then you can feed us as cheap as you possibly can. But okay. But yeah, so I could have probably got an apartment and moved out. Maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm so hard on myself because looking back, it's like, girl, you would report your car stolen if you tried to leave. So where did you think you were going? Even if you did have the money for an apartment. And then on top of that, I took my clothes, took my cars, so like, would I get to work without a car? There's no public transportation where I live, so there's hardly even like Uber or So yeah, basically it's just like a never-ending cycle of always like wondering like, oh well, if you did this or did that or did this, you could have got out quicker. Like you could have. It's like, girl, he would report your car stolen. He stole your clothes, so you couldn't leave. So like, I don't know what you think you were gonna do or how you think you were gonna leave. Like even if I did have the money for an apartment, how would I get there without a car? Like get to my job without a car? So it's just like all these things, like, and then like also partly because I was spending all my money on my ex in prison. Otherwise, I would have had the money for an apartment. And it just sucks because like I felt bad for him. I knew how hard it was in there, but he just used me because he knew I'm a good person. Like, I knew for a fact he was not. I was Cash Apping Big Bucks Trey in there too. Like, they were cellies together. And he would tell me, I'm so hungry, I need food. And then ended up calling me like 30 minutes later and he's high off his ass. Like, you can tell by people's voice if they're on certain things. And it was just like, I didn't want to risk him not going hungry, but at the same time, I don't know. At the same time, like, I knew he was using it for drugs. It's like, there's so many factors that, like, I could've, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like, it's just, I can't beat myself up because I tried my best to get out of that situation, and part of it was that I couldn't leave my brothers there. Because nobody was cooking dinner, nobody was cleaning the house, nobody was hanging out with them, watching them. My dad was in the basement all the time. And it's like, I would rather get my ass beat than risk my brothers getting their ass beat. And it's funny though, because most of the time, he wouldn't attack me unless we were home alone. Besides, there was one time, and my brothers called the cops. And he ended up strangling me. I was like upstairs just chilling in my brother's bedroom, and all of a sudden I'm getting ripped down the stairs by my hair, pinned up against the fridge and being strangled. And he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, you stupid fucking bitch. I'm like, what's going on? He was tweaked out of his mind. My brothers called the cops. He didn't even go to jail. So I was the one that went to jail after my brother just called the cops, and he's like, bro, like, my dad's just over there strangling my sister. He strangled me so hard that I fell to the ground. Like, I couldn't breathe. Like, I fell to the floor. And you know what Franklin County cops did when they pulled up? He kicked me in the fucking stomach while I'm lying on the floor and said, get the fuck up, you're fine. And that's exactly how I know that there's something wrong with Franklin County. So many people have complained about Franklin County. There's something wrong with them, bro. Like, they give me the vibe that they would be sex trafficking. And they're taking women and prisoners that nobody will miss. The ones that don't really get any calls whenever they're locked up. Oh, she's getting out in a few weeks. Let's go get her. Like, people don't understand. Cops bring in drugs to the prisons. Who's to say they're not involved with trafficking too? And the way that they treat women is, it's scary. They're handsy to me to the point where you do not need to be that handsy. And they throw me around like they were rough. Every time they arrested me, they slam me around and tighten the handcuffs as tight as they can go and throw me up against their fucking car. And I'm just, like, it's not like I'm resisting or trying to run or any of that shit. I'm not that dumb. You really think I would try to run? Like, come on. And catch another charge? Like, God. And half the time my dad would take my phone. This is the part that made me the most fucking mad. He would take my phone and break it or hide it from me to where I couldn't call the cops. There was nothing I could do. There was one time that I actually I made it out the front door. He was right behind me, and I was at the top of the stairs. I thought he was gonna push me down the stairs, and I just ran for it, and I ran to the neighbors, and he's threatened to push me down the stairs before. It wouldn't surprise me if he did, and I got knocked out and don't remember. I don't know, but because I woken up with like bumps on my head and cuts in my gums, and I'm like, what happened? He was like, you're probably so fucking drunk last night, you fell and hit your head. And I woke up in my bed, but I fell and got knocked out and hit my head somewhere. What? But yeah, so he would take my phones. I went to the neighbor's house. They let me use their phone. But I was too scared to call the cops. They never held me before. So I called my grandma, and then he gets away with it once again. And all those times that they came to my dad's house on 6th Street, 122 East 6th Street in Washington, Missouri, I don't even think they made a report. Like, I think they showed up, they didn't have their body cams on, they didn't make a report. So it's like, the only people that know about my dad are the neighbors. And I went back to thank the neighbor. I was like, thank you for calling the cops on my dad. And she was like, so I went back to thank the lady for calling the cops and like helping me, because he would take my phone so I couldn't call. And there's so many phones that got broken because of him. God. And like, I went over there, I was like, ma'am, thank you for calling the cops on my dad. Like, I really appreciate that. And she was like, that was your real dad? And I was like, yeah, why? And I started getting really scared because I'm like, what did she see? Like, what did that neighbor see? Because I don't even know the full extent, like, of what happened to me, because I would get drunk after he beat me and pass the fuck out. Because, like, I didn't want to be awake or alive. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just fall asleep real quick with some alcohol. And then she said she didn't realize it was my dad, and she said she wasn't the one that called the cops. So now I'm like, well, then what the fuck? Who was the one calling the cops then? Because they got called, like, on every other day, to the point to where the cops were like, you guys can't be around each other. And I'm like, what? Is this like you're like a wife and a husband? Like, why the fuck would you say you don't need to be around each other when he's my dad? He's my dad. What do you mean? What the fuck do you mean you can't be around each other? He shouldn't be around his damn kids. Why do you let him still have custody? Why haven't you called CPS? What is going on? You're gonna tell me that we can't be around each other? No, he can't be around his kids when he's on drugs and a fucking alcoholic. Just blows my mind. Who are you to tell me that we can't be around each other? Honey. Pretty sure that's the other way around. He doesn't deserve the kids that he has. And it scares me because if he beat me like a grown man, like, this is what I always tell Mom, like, he beats me like I'm a grown man, what the fuck do you think he's gonna do to my brothers? They're men. What do you think he's gonna do to them when they get older and they start talking back? Because Caden's just now 16. So it's like, it was around that age for me, like 15, whenever he started really attacking me. I mean, I remember when they were little, my brothers, he would like, when they would cry as toddlers, he would like grab them up by their arm and like rip them off the floor and like pick them up to hold them. But he'd be all pissed off and my mom would yell at him, like, stop doing that, you're gonna rip his arm out of socket. And like, of course it would just make my brothers cry even more because, what the fuck? You're fucking hurting him. He's a little baby. Like, who are you to rip him up like that by his arm? Like, he probably could still